Honorable Chief Guest, distinguished dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar and a very good morning to all. On behalf of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, I welcome you all to the Digital India Future Labs Summit 2024. India Tech Aid is reshaping the digital India narrative of India from solely being an IT/ITS hub a decade ago to a rising, trusted and global player in manufacturing, creating investments and jobs, which encompasses every facet of the digital economy. This transformation has brought forth not only the significant opportunities in vibrant startup ecosystem, but also poised to persist through the emergence of various technologies in domestic industry. We are gathered here for the launch of Digital India Future Labs, which is conceived to move up the value chain and fortify domestic R&D by creating a collaborative ecosystem for development of IPs, standards and catalyzing next-generation electronic system design ecosystem in the country by enabling co-development opportunities and partnerships amongst government, startups, R&D organizations, and large enterprises. Digital India Future Labs will be coordinated by CDAC to provide the dedicated thrust to following key growth areas, that is automotive, compute, communication, strategic electronics, and industrial electronics, IoT. The Digital India Future Labs is the brainchild of Hon'ble Minister of State, Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji, who holds multiple responsibilities as Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and Shakti. He is a former chip designer at Intel and also one of the pioneers of India's earliest and largest mobile networks at the onset. We thank Honorable Minister for conceiving the vision of Digital India Future Labs. And as we thank Honorable Minister for leading us today, may I request and invite him to light the ceremonial lamp. But before that, I request Professor Ranjan Bose, Director, IIIT Delhi, to kindly welcome him by presenting him with a shawl. We'd like to welcome you, sir, with a shawl first, and then we can light the lamp, as is the tradition in our country. Yes, I'll be calling them. Yes, sir. I request for lamp lighting, I request Ms. Malvika Pathak, VP R&D, Samriddhi Automation Private Limited, Srimati Sunita Verma, GC R&D, Electronics and IT, METI, Shri E. Magesh, DG CDAC, Dr. P.H. Rao, DG Samir, and Shri Sanjay Gupta, Chairman ISA. Please join us for the lighting of the ceremonial lamp as we seek the blessings of the divine power. Thank you. And I request Professor Ranjan Bose, Director, IIIT Delhi, for his welcome address.
A very good morning to all of you. Hon'ble Minister of State for Electronics and IT, Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji. The dignitaries present here, luminaries from the business world and the industry, experts from the startup ecosystem, faculty, students, friends from the media. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you to IIIT Delhi and for this wonderful event, the Digital India futureLABS inauguration. We are living in exciting times today, where electronics industry is really witnessing a paradigm shift, a shift towards value-added manufacturing. But the interesting story is the startup ecosystem has picked up in a big, big way, coming up with new innovative products. And of course, there is an underlying focus on sustainability. And the icing on the top is that we have a very supportive, forward-looking government with some of the very good initiatives like Make in India and the PLI scheme. The PLI scheme is gradually nudging us towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat, perhaps towards the Viksit Bharat campaign that the Honorable Prime Minister has started. So we are living in really fortunate times. But at the base of all of this is the collaboration. The collaboration between academia, industry, the startup ecosystem, and of course the government. And that is why today is so important with this new initiative. Now within academia, and I do understand that all of us realize higher education institutes have a key role to play not only in this ecosystem but also in nation building. So I'll take 1 minute just to apprise you of the startup ecosystem that we have created within the institute and the research focus that we have at IIIT Delhi. Just a minute. So VLSI engineering, semiconductor technology is a strong, strong focus at IIIT Delhi. We have 7 core faculty members and 20 associated faculty members who are working in this space, including the electronics design space. We have a very popular master's program in VLSI engineering, started in 2012, very positive feedback, not only from the recruiters, but also the median salary the students get. Plus, in 2022, we were the first in the country to start the BTech program in VLSI engineering, the first in the country. And this has also got very good focus in terms of getting good students and training them to meet the demands of the industry. But while we have very good labs and good equipment, we are also coming up with a new microfab lab to augment this and also provide hands-on training to our students and researchers, specifically in the semiconductor devices. So all gearing towards the ecosystem. But we do understand that collaboration is the key. And collaboration with universities abroad and also industry. Taiwan is a leader. So recently we had a delegation of 10 Taiwanese universities come to IIIT Delhi. We signed MOUs with some of them. And their minister, Dr. Mon Chi Lo, who was the Deputy Minister for Education himself, was here, and he was impressed with the kind of work India is doing, and they were happy to sign that MOU. Plus, we have ongoing relations with ST Microelectronics, the Thales Group in France, in IBM, and with Texas Instruments to collaborate on this one. In fact, the collaboration with Thales has led to a startup, in-house startup at IIIT Delhi. So at the end of the day, the measure is also that can we create a socio-economic impact in terms of a startup. Long time back, academic institutions were all about teaching. Then we elaborated the objective and said, no, teaching and then research, knowledge creation. And then now we have another story to say. Teaching, one pillar, research, and then the startup ecosystem. We do have 3 Section 8 companies here on campus. All are focused on startups. And one of them, the Electropreneur Park, mighty funded, is again focused primarily on startups in the electronic space. And we have got a shot in the arm, and now hopefully there'll be multiple activities coming out of this Electropreneur Park coming up. And also, very quickly, under the C2S program, we have a NAVIC accelerator running under one of our faculty colleagues. We have also tried to do the multiplier effect to ensure that it reaches the masses in order to create skilled manpower. So our Clouds Lab facility allows students across the country to access our hardware in the lab through the internet, a forward-looking concept. And similarly, under the NPTEL program, we have created a MOOCs for industry-oriented VLSI program, where students across the country, and last we counted, there were 12,000 registrants for this course. Finally, we did an experiment. The experiment is to see whether India can move back into being a product nation in the electronic space, right? And the time is right. And so we have started this new Center for Intelligent Product Development at IIITD, where we are getting industry people to start right from day one in an academic setting to come up with not a prototype, perhaps a platform leading to a product coming out from an education institute. It's an experiment. And therefore, this Future Labs initiative is so important for us today. And we hope to greatly benefit from this initiative, which will bring together academia, industry, the government, and the startup ecosystem together on one platform to create value, perhaps move the needle. We're all aware of the wonderful things Digital India has been doing, making our lives easier, doing business in India easier. It has touched all our lives, and this is another welcome addition. I'm very excited about this Future Labs initiative, and I wish it all the best.
Well, Digital India touching all our lives, and Indraprasth Institute of Information Technology, Delhi, and Apex Institute, laying strong emphasis on research, innovation, and entrepreneurship in the IT sector, doing its bit. We thank Professor Ranjan Bose for his very warm welcome address. And now, it's a pleasure to welcome these industry experts on stage. Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar, SVP and President, Qualcomm India. Shri Keith Witek, COO and board member of TENS Torrent. Shri Hitesh Garg, Vice President and Country Manager, NXP Semiconductors. And Shri Parag Nayak, CEO and founder of Sankhya Labs. Thank you for joining us on stage. And now I invite Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar, Senior Vice President and President, Qualcomm India, for his address on collaboration opportunities for design and innovation in communication space. Qualcomm, ladies and gentlemen, is a global leader in wireless technology, cutting-edge semiconductor chipsets, who has played a pivotal role in shaping mobile communications. Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar, please.
Good morning. How's everyone doing? Great. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you to the Hon'ble Minister, esteemed members from the leadership team of METI, CDAC, and other industry colleagues. It's great to be here. When I got an email from Ms. Sunita Verma that, hey, this event is happening, I was actually in the US. I said, no, I got to make change in my plans and be here. So I actually arrived less than 12 hours ago. So a bit jet lagged here, so good to be here. I woke up at 2 in the morning and, I was telling my wife that, when I come to India, I feel like it's, if you read the Asterix comic book, right? I feel like you have a magic portion. There's so much excitement about things that are happening and things that are changing and things we need to do. right? And that's really exciting time to be here, and it's amazing to be here actually at the launch of Digital India futureLABS, right? I was sitting here with the minister's office actually, and he's a man of action, you know, we call him at Qualcomm man of action, right? And he talked about the futureLABS' vision, right? And I was telling him some of my experiences. Before coming to India about 4 months ago, I was leading the strategy for the semiconductor group and also doing incubation. So as you know, Qualcomm, we do a lot of innovation in-house, and we look at the engineers come up with new ideas, you know, around digital health and other areas. And what my charter was, how do we incubate these things, right? So when I heard about futureLABS, I said, well, wow, that's making a whole lot of sense. And now this is at scale with the public-private partnership. So I was pretty amazed by, you know, the charter, the strategy, and how companies like Qualcomm can actually enable that ecosystem right here in India, right? So it's been really exciting times to be here, right? Just like I think Professor from IIT said, Triple IT said, I think it's all about creating a product in India, right? It's all about that, right? When I came here, our CEO sat down with me and said, Savi, I have one thing for you. You must find a way to create product companies and create more product companies in India, so that virtuous cycle, we at Qualcomm look at that flywheel concept, pretty important, right? We look at that flywheel concept where it's not only about make in India, it's also about design in India, and that virtuous cycle is complete if you have both, right? So it's very important that one of the KPIs I have being in India is how do we actually nurture these startups, help the larger conglomerate so that they can do more product design right here in India, right? To help that, you know, Qualcomm India, we now have more people actually in India doing engineering work for global product companies around the globe. Samsung in Korea, a lot of Chinese OEMs, you know, OEMs, car OEMs, you know, like Mercedes and others in Europe, all the way up into things that we're doing around wireless in the US. We do all of those products, and we have large engineering forces that are actually driving that innovation right here in India, in our facilities in India. So it's a perfect time for someone like Qualcomm to actually enable that ecosystem, and we are right here to actually go help that, right? Not only with large conglomerates, but which also with startups. We have done this before in other countries where we actually enable. There's a lot of things that we could do in terms of product design. We can't do all product design for modules or semiconductors or products. So that's why Qualcomm is here to enable an ecosystem around us. You know, we enable ecosystem, provide technology so that, you know, people can scale, right? So it's been really exciting to be here. I'm really honored that Qualcomm has been selected to participate here in this launch of the futureLABS. Just a few things more that Qualcomm is doing. We also have our Qualcomm Design in India Challenge, for which we have actually 100 startups that we have actually incubated, of which about 300 patents have come, more than 300 patents have come out of this. We also do Qualcomm Women in Entrepreneurship in India Network, where we mentor women startups to do more startups in India, mentoring them and providing them guidance. We also have the Qualcomm QIF, which is called the Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship. We provide grants to universities. So there's a lot of stuff that Qualcomm is doing around the ecosystem, all with the mission of driving more that virtuous cycle of product design here and product being manufactured right here in India. Actually, very excited to be here today, and as I mentioned, one of the things that we actually are doing, in addition to the partnership with METI, we're also doing an extension of our Qualcomm Semiconductor and Mentorship Program with CDAC. So we're very excited about that partnership, where we are actually mentoring startups that are doing semiconductor design and hopefully production at some point down the line. So super excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, like I said, I feel like the Asterix, you know, somebody in that Asterix comic that has a droid when you land here in India. So great to be here, super excited, and congratulations to everyone for this launch event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and welcome once again to India, sir. I now request Srimati Sunita Verma, METI, to kindly honor him by presenting him a memento. A memento for Shri Savi Soin. Thank you. And now I invite Shri Keith Vitek, COO and board member, TENS Torrent, for his address on collaboration opportunities in high-performance computing space. TENS Torrent is a next-generation computing company that builds computers for AI. TENS Torrent brings together experts in the field of RISC-V computer architecture, ASIC design, advanced systems, and neutral network compilers. Shri Keith Vitek, please.
So I have slides, so I'll be the IT test case. But if we have problems, this is a good place to have IT problems. We can fix it. So to all my friends in India, we have a very interesting journey ahead of us. I'll talk to it. It looks like the slides may not be coming up. I can speak to it from memory. If you are a student of history, you know this is our fourth AI high-performance compute wave. Some would say hype cycle. This one, oh, here we go. This one is sticking. This one's going to stay around, and it's going to drive profound impact to the global economy. Go back a little bit. There, that's the slide I'm looking for. So we're in the fourth wave of technology. The semiconductor market globally right now is about $600 billion. In just 5 years, most of the analysts believe that's going to scale to $1 trillion. $600 billion to $1 trillion, with about 40% of that, which is $400 billion US dollars, being derived in 2028 by artificial intelligence and high-performance compute. Let that sink in. It took the semiconductor market 60 years to build the $600 billion in total sales. And in just 5 years, we're going to almost build that again as a global community. So I know what you're thinking. What does that mean for India? So let's talk about a few markets. Let's first talk about how the semiconductor market is going to be impacted. One of the big inflection points that I see coming to semiconductors is we're going to move because of cost necessity, velocity and time to market necessity, and 12 other reasons I don't have time to talk about. The chiplet industry will happen. It's already happened in FPGA and DRAM and high performance compute. It's coming down the stack to all of us, and it has profound advantages for those who embrace it. It's going to create a new ecosystem. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And those that get into that ecosystem have a chance to become incumbents and leaders where they didn't even exist 3 to 5 years ago. So chiplets will be a huge market, and we're going to take that journey together, TENS Torrent in India, along with Qualcomm with Savi. Automotive. I will tell you a story. I worked at Tesla for 3 years. I was in a meeting with Elon Musk. The technology that we deploy has to help people. There's no reason that technology is here if it doesn't help people. That's the ultimate reason why we do what we do. We sat down and had a meeting. I hope this isn't depressing, but we face the honest truth. We're leaders, and we have to face the truth, which is 1.4 million people die in cars every year. Those are the people that die, not the people that are impacted negatively by a car accident. We probably all know somebody who has experienced a life event like this. With technology we're deploying today, we were running numbers at Tesla. 93 to 94% of those accidents are human error, right? They can be avoided with technology. And we can take fatalities on the road with all the data we were looking at in 2016, 2017, we saw a lot of the data. We can take those fatalities down to 100,000 people. 1.3 million people a year will be living because of the work a year, we'll be living because of the work we're going to do in this room and the products and technology we're going to bring to the market. I'm not even talking about the financial gain of making transport more affordable and more efficient. And I know what you're thinking. Keith, you're from America. You don't know India. And India has no city that has any traffic problems. I'm kidding. I was in Bangalore. I know. Not offending anybody in Bangalore, please. I love that city. But there's an amazing amount of advancement we can make in almost any vertical. The last vertical I want to talk about is healthcare, another story. I was sitting in a cafe in Tel Aviv. Next to me was a professor of biomedical engineering and his students. We started talking about what the future holds for healthcare. One of the things they talked about years ago, and it's coming to market now, we see it with diabetes and other things, was, Keith, nobody has to die from a heart attack. I'm probably getting the science wrong. I'm not a medical doctor, but the way I remember it is 24 to 72 hours before you have a fatal event with a heart attack, you're giving off CEC cell indicators in your body you're having a heart attack. If you can detect that, you can prevent it. You can get to a hospital. Problem is, we don't go in for blood draws every 4 hours at the doctor. So we need mobile technology, contact lenses, wearables. They were using HP inkjet technology at the time, reversing the flow, doing analytics. If we do this, we can save lives. I tell you, the killer app is health and happiness. I worked in a lot of markets, built a lot of products. I played way too much Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStations. None of that matters. Your cell phone doesn't matter if you don't have health and happiness. So us driving into the healthcare market and making sure all of us live healthier, longer lives is incredibly important. So there's some vectors or some industry trends that I think favor India's future success. This falls right into your core competencies and your superpowers. One is velocity. Everything's moving faster. I give a talk on velocity a lot. And there's a chart I use that shows the TV, the phone took like 72 years to get from 0 users to 150 million users. The TV, 34 years. Skype, 4 years. iPad, 5 quarters. I showed recently to our board the velocity of business and what we have to put up with, what we have to consider in our markets. It took, I think, scalar diffusion, like 4 days to hit 150 million users. These markets are forming and becoming multi-billion-dollar businesses before we could even think about changing the technology. India is an organization and a culture that can move faster than others. They can do that. I've seen them do it before. It needs to be a focus for any company that's going to win in this new dynamic. Cost. The real superpower of India is most companies stop developing their technology and problem solving before they get to the 4 billion user mark. India doesn't stop there. They take the technology and do the really hard innovation. They take that $1,400 phone and they can bring it down to $80. I've seen India do this over and over and over and over again. I am truly, truly impressed by it. It's something that this country does that no other country can do. And if you do that, you're going to be very successful in these markets going forward. And then open innovation. There's too many monopolies, too many control points that are not beneficial to innovation, velocity, and speed that have emerged in the market. You have 3 choices for DRAM. You have 2 choices for CAD tools. You have 1 choice if you're trying to make a CPU right now in cell phone. EUV steppers, 1 choice. Modems, maybe 4 people on the planet doing 5G modems. We have got to bring open platforms to the market, more innovation, more opportunity, more choice, lower cost, more things happening in the market. So India comes into this environment. How are they going to win? You guys have a tremendous amount going for you. You have scale. You have young talent. And it's growing. There's a lot of countries that are going to have to put a lot of energy, like Japan, Korea, China, into figuring out where their future talent's going to come from. I competed against your best at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I'm exhausted, right? They're brilliant, they're hard workers, they're very smart. Many of them are my friends to this day. We've been friends for 35 years, and you have a larger pool of this and more of it coming than anyone else. You have a great educational system. We see it on stage. You have a geopolitical advantage that many other companies don't have. I tell you, There are going to be countries that choose to divide. There'll be countries that choose to build bridges and unite. History shows the ones that build bridges and unite are going to win. You're ideally placed to go do that. So go do that. A couple things to work on that'll be things we have to step up on as we collaborate between India and companies like TENS Torrent is you really need to put in the capital. This has become a very expensive outlook. Even when I was at Google for 3 years, when Google starts complaining that the CapEx is too much to deploy, we need government help, you know you are playing for high stakes. TSMC, $200 billion in investment over 10 years to make this technology happen. Steppers out of ASML, $500 million apiece. I was in Taiwan and they said, we can buy Navy battleships cheaper than we can buy one EUV stepper. Wafer costs going to $30,000 a wafer. Mass tape outs, $30 million. This isn't a poor game. This requires capital. You'll have to have capital win and attitude. Nobody has ever risk-reduced a company or country to greatness, ever. Look at the journey Reliance took. Look at the journey Samsung took. Look at the journey Texas Instruments took. I don't care about culture, economy, geopolitics. The right attitude, we're going to do it, we're going to persevere, we're going to win, no one's going to tell us no, we're going to put in the capital, we're going to work hard. If we have a bad quarter, we'll do a better next quarter. It's got to be something we do together to win. So real quick, in closing, I haven't said anything about TENS Torrent to this point. I didn't come here this week, thank you Rajeev Ji for the invite. I didn't come here this week to talk about TENS Torrent. I came here to talk about India, because our company believes if we help India, we'll do just fine. So we're a high-performance compute company. We build AI systems. We build CPU systems. We know heterogeneous compute matters. Software on top of it needs to run. And we're not going to be that company that lets you build $10 billion, $100 billion, $1 trillion into investment and comes to you one day and say, you have no choice but to use us. We're going to increase your price by 6x. Or we're not going to have or allow a government bureaucrat somewhere to say, thanks for that investment, India. We signed a bill. We don't want to do business with you anymore. You're going to have to switch your entire infrastructure to something else. That's not what we want to see happen. That's not good for anybody. So TENS Torrent, India, together, self-reliance. Let's go partner. Let's go make it happen. I'm really pleased to be here. I look forward to the journey. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Keith Witek, for trusting India and its talent for collaborating with us. I now request Shri E. Magesh, DG CDAG, to kindly present a memento to Mr. Witek. DG CDAG, Shri E. Magesh, felicitating Mr. Keith Witek. Well, NXP Semiconductors enables a smarter, safer, and more sustainable world through innovation. As a world leader in secure connectivity solutions for embedded applications, NXP is pushing boundaries in the automotive, industrial and IoT, mobile and communication infrastructure markets. I now request Shri Hitesh Garg, VP and Country Manager, NXP Semiconductors, India, for his address on collaboration opportunities for design and innovation in compute space.
Thank you, and very, very good morning to everyone. So this is a great privilege for us to join to this great initiative. So I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart to Honorable Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji for driving this vision in India about system design, system innovation. I think that's where I personally feel we should have more focus. Of course, last 10 years or last 20 years, we have progressed quite a lot on chip design. End of the day, I would, again, if I would like to just frame the chip, it's like a component. but how do we expand our vision to a system design? And that's where I see the initiative of futureLABS is coming exactly at the right time. That's the right vision for us, for India, to define, to design systems for India, for the world. So I think this is a fantastic vision, and so which is being started from here, and we being part of this, we feel really privileged. Just to share my story a bit, I would say the world ahead is definitely different. But if I look at the innovation drivers, so they remain almost the same. So you see some of the things here, building and factories, so they need to be resilient, efficient. We talk about AI, we talk about supply continuity, we talk about always connected and sensing world. So these are the things which are there for last 4 to 5 years, which are continuing. Now from this, how we draw our key focus areas, right? And I think that's where industrial is a big play that we see in our in future. Also healthcare, smart home, automotive, and all we can talk about systems in all these areas, and these systems are very similar. So you can talk about a common view on systems in various industries, and that's where we see the integration coming up. And that's where we see that we need to put more thoughts into it. So there is again, we talk about digital twins. So digital twin is a term which can be used in industrial terms, in healthcare, in automotive, smart home, in all the industries. So looking at this, if I look at the whole concept of the Future Lab, I see it completely matches these key drivers of the ecosystem, be it on industrial IoT, communication, compute, strategic electronics, automotive, and mobility. So these are the key growth drivers where India needs to do the system innovation, where we need to be ahead of the curve to define systems, and that's how we can own the whole value chain. We can call it as a vertical integration from end to end, defining, designing not only the system but the components and also manufacturing ecosystem. So with that vision, if I just say that what is the opportunity that we have in front of us, for sure we see 2030 there will be more than 50 billion smart connected devices, so which will be covering our I would say system security, AI, ML, ultra low power, functional safety. So they will be in various industries, as we see in home, I would say also in vehicles. So huge opportunity, 50 billion smart connected devices by 2030. And if you see, we also see integration of technologies. So if I just try to dissect that, how, if you look at any technology, if you look at any application, so 4 technology vectors. Everywhere you need sensing, everywhere you need thinking, means compute, connectivity, and actuation. So if you define any system, be in automotive area, be it in home automation, be it in industrial, so they need all these 4 various components or 4 verticals. And how we look at it, right? So these are all the technologies. So I think we as a technology providers, we have technologies. So the technology need to be scalable. Why they need to be scalable? I think one of the things is that one size does not fit all. Here I take an example of an automotive system. And if I put these automotive system, I have a kind of a parallel with the brain. So we see the brain shift is underway. So if we divide it into 3 parts, one is you can say the sensing part, which is brain stem. Then we have cerebellum, which does your vital functions, and also the top portion, which is cerebrum, which coordinate perception. And if we draw parallels from this system to the chips, the sensing, you don't need very high compute, right? So they are maybe lower 8-bit, 16-bit kind of microcontroller, microprocessors. So that's one range of sensing that you need. If you go to the next level, where you say have these vital functions, so that's, you can say, NPU kind of a system. And when you go to the next level, the highest level, this is AI accelerators, and that's where you talk about perception. So in an automotive, in any system, you need various level of compute, possibilities, requirements. And I think that's where any system that we talk about, we need scalability of technologies, of technology solutions, and I think that's where the innovation is more and more required. How we make the solutions scalable, how we think from the end goal, and how we design this system. And that's where I think the Future Lab idea completely comes in front of us. Apart from the brain shift, I would say example, so there are a lot of other systems, for example, within automotive, electrification, connectivity. So these are another opportunities that I see that India can grow much bigger and make bigger impacts. Moving forward, the same thing is there on smart home automation. Again, by 2027, more than 2 billion devices. So I invite all the startups here to look into these possibilities, look into these opportunities of developing, designing system solutions. And we from NXP are fully supported, running various startup initiatives, be it on Startup Challenge, again, very close collaboration with MIT, with Government of India, with FabCI. So this again, not only running the initiatives, but we have found some really great startups. Here in the picture, you see a doctor. Her name is Dr. Sugandhi Gopal. She is running a company called Cardiatech. She is a practitioner, cardiologist, but she has built a device, the highest accurate ECG in the world. So most of the ECG devices, right, electronic ECG, they can measure millivolts, but her device can measure microvolts. And this is under clinical trials. So this was part of one of our Extreme Tech Challenge. And when the Vice Chancellor of Germany was here, so she is talking to him in this picture. So the whole idea of us is that how do we grow the ecosystem, find these kind of gems in the ecosystem. When we do this startup program, I was flabbergasted to see there are 4 companies which are working in quantum key distribution in India. They are launching satellites. That's the vision that they are coming in. And that's exactly the playground for them of this Future Labs. So again, want to thank the Honorable Minister for showing this vision and making us progress on this vision. And I think with this, I would like to end my talk. So this is the great collaboration that we are doing this ecosystem, and Future Lab is a great platform for us to advance our research into this ecosystem. So thank you very much, and thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Rao, DG Samir, to kindly present memento to Shri Hitesh Garg. Sankhya Labs is a wireless communication and semiconductor solutions company which has designed and developed a full spectrum of next-gen communication solutions for broadband, satellite, and broadcast applications, including 5G NR, direct-to-mobile broadcast, satellite communication modems for IoT applications, and multi-standard DTV modulators and demodulators. I request its CEO and founder of Sankhya Labs, Shri Parag Nayak, to address on collaboration opportunities for Indian telecom stack. Thank you.
Thank you to the Honorable Minister for having me here. I think it's testimony of the support the government gives today to startups in India. And 10 years ago, I wouldn't have anticipated that I would be here at an event, sitting with such an august gathering. I think if in 5 years from now, I mean, some of the younger guys here should take pride, and also the fact that if a clown like me can come here, you can do better than me. Yeah. And the choice of Future Labs is very interesting because when we found Sankhya, we named it as Sankhya Labs, so that most of innovation happens through tinkering, right? And at that time, a lot of people used to come to our office in Hendu Road in Bangalore and ask us whether we do blood tests. So they thought that, we are a pathology lab that actually does stuff. So I think as an ecosystem, we have matured where, we really now know that, we can name companies and ecosystems as labs. And that shows the sign of maturity. My talk is a bit more specific and a bit more technical, and I'll take on Keith's, challenge of, monopolies, and I'll talk about a few monopolies and how monopolies are a detriment to, to creative destruction. I think as a part of the startup process and also as a part of, part of the growth, creative destruction is a very important aspect. And then to allow new entrants to come in and build stuff is very important. So one of the parallels that I would give and is the model that India has adopted for UPI, right? And that has actually practically, changed the world of fintech and broken down the monopolies of a few credit card companies. And I'll talk about also in an electronic manufacturing thing, what is it about, why are we talking these phrases here? And I think Keith also mentioned it. It's because, going forward, a lot of these systems have to be approached top-down and, framework-driven. For example, NVIDIA partly is where it is. Not a lot of people know because of its investment in CUDA, right? And how do you build such open ecosystems? And this is one attempt to talk about open ecosystems for for telecom and generally the area that we operate in, that is the radio access networks and wireless systems. Some of the ecosystem challenges, it's a bit harsh, but it's a fact that 3GPP is actually a digital colonizer. It is controlled centrally by a few oligarchs, right? And that's one of the detriments to to innovation. While in principle it is open, it's too prescriptive, it's too agility, innovation limited, and creates monopolies, right? In fact, try getting a data sheet of a 5G modem from anybody. It's easier to get national secrets than that. So that's how, and that shows how difficult it is to access information. So this whole idea of holding back information is not going to get us anywhere further. Going forward for AI, fundamentally more than the model, it's the data that's important, right? If we have data, if we have open stuff along which we actually can go build more complex stuff and also or create or promote creative destruction. One of the other challenges in telecom is basically there's very little sharing. Today in the telecom world, operators share only passive electronics, which is basically the towers and fiber optics and so on. So going forward to create a better business model, you need active sharing of electronics and the spectrum itself. Practically, for spectrum is actually an oxygen for the digital economy. Without easy access to spectrum, it becomes very difficult to actually build all the rest of the cool things on healthcare, on automotive and all of that. Because communication and telecom is going to be the next potential DPI. So what are the some of the trends that are there in the industry, right? At least in the from a telecom and a communication perspective. It's a union of three disparate stuff from some subtle perspectives, but they're all the same, of telecom, cloud, and AI, right? A lot of cloud concepts and even computer science, if you really look at it, have 2 or 3 basic concepts that have driven computer science, right? One is late binding. For those of you who know cricket, late binding is like, is trying to bat on on an cloudy morning English wicket, right? You are always told play with soft hands and also play as late as possible. Computer science, the goal of computer science is that. So from libraries to microservices to containers is to play as late as possible and to be able to bind as late as possible. And that has resulted in, all these cool technologies that Netflix offers you through microservices and stuff like that. The other trend in computer science has always been higher abstraction. We have a corollary to Moore's law. We call it the Sankhya law of abstraction, which is, every 7-8 years, I don't know the exact time frame, or maybe around a decade, your level of abstraction goes up by 2x or 3x. It's an empirical law. Again, I don't have any data to prove it, but that's what we feel. The whole of the cloud computing, all your Android stuff, all the compute that has happened today has this one particular trend. So you've gone from when we started our careers in programming and assembly to what are called today domain-specific languages. All those cool stuff that back-end and front-end that kids talk about. That's the very important aspect of, this allows you to actually double or triple your productivity. And then finally, the other one that's there in the cloud is treating something as a resource. When you treat something as a resource, you can provide that as a service. So if you treat compute as a resource, you can provide compute as a service. This allows you to monitor and also scale stuff, right? So more and more, all these concepts have to go down from software into hardware, right? And into hardware and into silicon architectures. And once we start designing that, this whole concept of trying to treat something as a resource is actually late binding in hardware. And the other important trend that's happening, I think we all know about generative AI, is the implementation agility. I call it the implementation agility, where we had static architecture, static regulatory systems. Right? Going forward, you would more and more. I think Hitesh or somebody put up that slide. More and more systems would sense, detect, and then adapt. Right? This is the OODA loop, and I believe future networks would be actually networks which actually design themselves by sensing the RF environment. Because an RF environment changes in space and in time in probably every 30 milliseconds. What a standard developed in Europe for a US city might not hold for optimally hold for a village in India or a village in Africa. And the final one is actually open source white box hardware and software, and I think multiple companies in multiple domains are attempting this. In our own domain, there's this trend called the Open RAN or the ORAN that's actually doing this. So what is the solution to this? I call it the India Telecom stack. I mean, there are distinctly, three models of development, or in some sense, there's the American model, then there's the Chinese model, which is the American model on the steroids, and then there's the Indian model right now. And we have shown it with the UPI, which is the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? We take everybody along with us, right? We build frameworks and allow everybody to compete. We are all frenemies. And these parallels have happened in other domains as well, right? At the beginning of my career, I remember getting hold of a C compiler or a Pascal compiler. We used to still program in Pascal those days. Was very difficult. GNU came and played people don't even know that, you have to pay, there's something called a compiler now, and you have to pay for it. Same was true in the 90s for operating systems, right? Unix operating systems. You have to shell out a lot of money. Linux changed that. And in our own recent past, we have done it through India Stack for UPI, through UPI, right? What we have done is we have broken the monopoly of 2 or 3 credit card companies and actually unleashed a new power where, the ecosystem thrives. Everybody thrives in this. So that's the idea, is to unleash an extreme openness. And then the scaling is a byproduct of that, right? And also, some of the other ones are a bit more, very technical, but I'll skip them. But today, what happens is in our networks, we are actually virtualizing implementation, not virtualizing interfaces, which means that we define static protocols. Like I said, you need to have systems that actually sense the environment and adapt to that environment. So that's not possible in today's, static systems. Some of the features are, that, each component from an optical to the different layers in the OSI stack have a bunch of standardized APIs like UPI does for manageability, telemetry, security, which is becoming a very important aspect. So some of the other features are basically every layer is provided as a platform, right? One of the reasons why today we have so much cloud computing is also because of the concept of an hypervisor that developed over the past 20 years. There are a lot of plumbing parts that should be open sourced. For example, if I'm building a 5G chip or somebody else is building a 5G chip, 70 or 80% of the work is grunt work. We all do the same things. And we waste a lot of collective money in trying to build that. And that's where half the trillion, like Keith said, hundreds of billions of dollars get wasted because of that. So we have to be able to better monetize some of those resources and also pool resources. And at the same time, concentrate on building the 20-30% differentiation that we can bring to the table. So that actually helps this. And then, every implementation component, in fact, we are looking at building silicon architectures in a virtualized way, which allows you to virtualize silicon, which means I am able to, like I said, bind resources in a silicon or in a hardware very late through a software framework. And that allows you to get most use of the silicon architecture that's available. So one other aspect is every implementation component is auditable, which is always a problem today, right? We have a trust from a trusted source and stuff like that. The ability to have observability, which is basically important for sensing, is to pull out telemetry data and use ML techniques to do it. And then, make sure that every software and component that is there is portable across systems, so that there's not one single monopoly, no one single vendor can come and say, okay, here's my monopoly, tomorrow morning I'm going to charge you double the price of what I'm charging today. I'll skip this part. And yeah, a potential collaboration method along on the lines of the India Stack approach is that futureLABS becomes some kind of a lightly regulated NPCI, right, which actually manages the marketplace. So you go to a marketplace model, host spectrum and other resource sharing frameworks. The industry becomes, iSpirit. iSpirit was the company, I think the consortium that actually built the first, APIs and the first zero-hour version of the India Stack. Something similar could be done. And then the academia, the third leg, can contribute expertise and build stuff around this. I believe this would unleash a level of innovation in telecom that would be pretty unprecedented, and that would be our contribution from the tech perspective for the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And as an example, because we are silicon guys, we today most of our algorithms, actually, the real innovation in some of these comes from algorithms that are built by small researchers. But to build a chip for 5G for a small researcher is almost next to impossible. The ability to actually build a white-sourced silicon architecture that allows you microservice, the ability to pull in and pull out algorithms at will, to have telemetry hooks, to have virtualization hooks will and then driven by a standard hypervisor will actually help us build these open architectures. And so, something similar can be done for the rest of the telecom. By the way, the same approach can also be done for, while I have the UPI and the India Telecom Stack hammer in my hand, I can also visualize a India manufacturing stack where we have, we work with partners like Keynes and others who can actually come up with a standard portable thing where we can go across manufacturers, getting the same amount of quality and same kind of look and feel for the product. Thank you.
To present memento to Shri Parag Nayak, CEO and founder of Sankhya Labs, I request Shri S.K. Marwa, GC R&D Meti, to kindly come on stage. Thank you, sir. And now, I would like to invite Shri Sanjay Gupta, Chairman ISA, to apprise us of his initiatives at ISA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone. Still, it is not 12, so good morning. And very happy to be here representing ISA, India Electronics and Semiconductors Association. And more importantly, it's a great day, a big milestone. So many congratulations to the entire IIIT family here. And a special thanks to Honorable Minister Rajeev Chandrasekhar ji for enabling this very momentous occasion for launch of futureLABS, which I'm sure is going to be the catalyst for the new India. Thank you. And this reminds me of a famous quote which says that there are centuries where nothing happens, but there are decades where centuries happen. And I truly believe with the effort of Honorable Minister and our Honorable Prime Minister, India is going through exactly that decade where work centuries is happening, and specifically around leading India's technology and making us a viable force to reckon with in the entire world. So I'm very elated to be here. This milestone is going to make us leapfrog into this journey. We are already going stronger every decade. We are 3.5 trillion economy, all poised to become 7 trillion by the end of this decade. And in many industries, from automotive, industrial, we are leaping forward in top 3 in automotive, for example, and getting stronger every day. So with the momentum that is going on, the 4D, with which we symbolize the current. The first one is the demographic profile, which all represented by our technical fraternity, our youth. The second D, which is digitization. The UPI payments, where more than 50% of our economy is running with digital payment. We prove the world that, we might start late, but we will beat everyone. The third D is decarbonization, where the penetration of EVs going into hydrogen, green hydrogen, and many new technologies, we are going to leapfrog the world again in that electrification. And the fourth one is a new phenomenon called deglobalization. In many ways, the world is looking at India to be the beacon of light and technology in times to come. So I'm very happy. And again, from ISA and also from my own industry, I would commit that we are going to provide this design-linked manufacturing so that our engineers are designing exactly what is needed in the industry. And we are going to do everything possible that every design goes 100% worth of it by getting localized into the Indian component industry. And we reduce the reliance of billions of dollars of import, which today happening because of lack of final products from India. So with that vision and with that commitment, thank you very much for having me here. And I wish everyone all the best for this major milestone done by Honorable Minister. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I request once again Shri S.K. Marwa, GCR&D Meti, to kindly present a memento to Shri Sanjay Gupta. Thank you so much. We now bring you, ladies and gentlemen, greater insights into the Digital India Future Labs through a short film.
Innovation, technology, the power of young Indians. It is all this and more as technology becomes an integral part of our everyday lives and India's rapidly growing electronics capabilities. Digital India has changed the old narrative of India solely being an ITES hub a decade ago to a rising, trusted and global player in all things technology. From being a mere consumer of technology to one actively shaping the future of technology. India today is the fastest growing digital economy with a vibrant startup ecosystem, which is third largest in the world. So what will bring the next wave of startups and innovation? Unlike earlier, when the tech advancements were primarily fueled by hardware-driven performance, the focus today has shifted to design and innovation as the driving forces for the next generation of automotive, mobility and compute performance. Understanding that design in India is as important as make in India, and that the next wave of innovation will be ushered by electronics system design, the Narendra Modi government proudly launches the Digital India Future Labs. Future Labs shall shape the future of electronics and electronic systems in India with dedicated thrust on automotive, industrial electronics and IoT, compute, communication and strategic electronics. It shall create tremendous opportunities for co-development and partnership amongst government, startups, R&D organizations and large enterprises, catalyzing the next generation electronic system design in New India.
भारत में इनोवेशन का कल्चर बढ़ाने के लिए हमें दो बातों पर निरंतर ध्यान देना होगा। सोशल सपोर्ट और इंस्टीट्यूशनल सपोर्ट, यानी समाज में इनोवेशन एज ए प्रोफेशन इसकी स्वीकृति बढ़ रही है। रिसर्च और इनोवेशन को वे ऑफ वर्किंग से वे ऑफ लिविंग बनाना होगा।
This is indeed the most exciting period in the history of modern India, an inflection point as Indian startups are gearing up to create the next generation of products, devices, solutions and platforms for the world. The future of electronics system design and innovation starts at futureLABS. We invite all the partners in design and innovation ecosystem to be a part of Digital India futureLABS.
His unwavering focus is on translating Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Digital India into reality by expanding and deepening India's tech and innovation economy. He is our chief guest, the dynamic Union Minister, Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar, who we are greatly honored to have here. Well, I had a long introduction about him. He is a pioneer in this field and also leading the ministry, but as he's already here, I will not waste any further time and request him for his special address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. To my friends on the stage, Savi Soin, Keith Whitek, Hitesh, Sanjay Gupta, and of course my friend from Bangalore, Parag, colleagues from the Government of India and the various labs in the Government of India, my colleagues in the ministry who worked very hard to put this together, those who are from the academia, and startups, wannabe startups, future startups, our host, Professor Bose, all of you, a very good morning or early afternoon. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you for being here at this Digital India futureLABS launch. And I certainly want to share a few thoughts on this, on what the Digital India futureLABS means. And I will start by pointing you in the direction of the deep transformation of the technology ecosystem, our technology credentials, and our technology ambitions over the last 10 years. There was some mention about the India DPI. Just yesterday we had the Eiffel Tower light up with the UPI launch in France. The India DPI, a stack of governance solutions that is now increasingly being adopted by countries all over the world in their own quest to digitize their economies and governance and their citizens' lives. You saw recently the Chandrayaan-3. So over the last 10 years, the journey of India as a consumer of technologies, which we used to be, as a provider of talent for the large technology companies around the world, has certainly been redrawn and structurally changed to being a country where talent is certainly available, and we continue to support the companies and enterprises of the world with our talent, but we are also on the front foot, batting and building technologies, intellectual properties and solutions for ourselves and for the world. With this backdrop, with this context, let me share with you that Digital India futureLABS is the last piece of a framework and an architecture that our Honorable Prime Minister has put together that started way back in 2015 with Digital India's launch, and many years of creating an enabling framework to make India a trusted hub for manufacturing electronics for the consumers of the world. And as that got momentum, in 2021 launching the semiconductor mission with research, innovation and design
of the next generation of devices front and center as our goal and objective. Digital India Future Labs is the last important foundational block to position India, position Indian entrepreneurs, Indian startups in the forefront of, on the league table of, the development of future digital products, devices and solutions. Before I speak to what the design of the Digital India Future Labs is about and what we intend to achieve and what is the expected objectives, of course, some of it has been shared by my very illustrious friends from the industry and leaders in tech. Let me give you some background, and I'll share maybe 2 or 3 points for your understanding. Professor Bose referred to this, us living in exciting times. And he is absolutely on the money with that type of characterization. For anybody in technology today, even if you're a grizzled veteran like me who started excitedly my career when we had 1.2 million transistors on a chip and that we thought was like going to the moon and coming back. Or somebody who, again like me, I use me as an example, who did a master's where I did a thesis on artificial intelligence where training a model with 8 or 9 parameters was a huge challenge and we just had to give up. To living today in a world where AI, semiconductor, high performance compute, as we knew it, as we just knew it recently, as we knew it in the past, is being completely redrawn and presents to entrepreneurs of today, companies of today, startups of today, research institutions of today, almost an back to basics type of opportunity in developing systems for the future. You heard yesterday, you saw yesterday our Honorable Prime Minister preside over Bharat Mobility, the 2024 event. And he spoke to the growing digitization of the automotive segment, the growing space for innovation in a sector that seemed to have been just a decade ago dominated by companies in Japan, Korea, or indeed in the US and Western Europe. So that is one point I want to tell you, that I certainly confirm to you that, and I can say confirm rather than just state, because I have traveled for 35 years in this technology world. I confirm to you what Professor Bose said, that we are certainly living in the most exciting, most disruptive, most opportunity-rich time for technology. The second point I want to just make to you is that most of us have lived in an era, lived at a time where we were used to general purpose systems, we were used to general purpose processors and chips, closed technology. So there used to be x86, there would be RISC processors from ARM. There would be all these proprietary types of platforms that were very general, and applications therefore just grew off of those general purpose platforms. And there was a point made by Parag, I think, about Moore's law, and that the conventional wisdom for the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years was that every generation of performance improvement, performance enhancement would come from the next generation of chips, which again, like I said, would come from either an x86 or would come from ARM or would come from one or the other family of processors. That is certainly changing. And this is the second point I want to draw your attention to. That as digitization is getting into use cases that were never even envisaged just 5 years ago. And somebody told me recently, and Keith can confirm this, that a Tesla EV today has no less than 1,700 pieces of independent discrete silicon chips talking to each other to make sure the car stays on the road and travels ahead. So digitization and digital technologies and indeed electronification, let me use that phrase, is getting into use cases that were absolutely unimaginable just 5 to 7 years ago. I have, as one of my other responsibilities, Shakti ministry, where in the last 4 years, the Honorable Prime Minister has ensured that over 12 crore homes which did not have drinking water have today tapped safe water. And one of the active use cases for electronics is how do we create low-cost, ruggedized products or systems that could meter and meter not just the quantity but the quality of the water that is being consumed. Now, 10 years ago, if you had said, look, here is a use case for electronics, a use case for digital, which is to meter water supply to 14 crore homes, 140 million homes in rural India, to meter the quality and quantity of the water, I would have said, you're joking. But that is certainly a use case for technology. So therefore, it is clear whether it is automotive, whether it's industrial IoT, whether it is strategic electronics, whether it is compute as we know it, of course, and compute as we don't know it and can't anticipate, communication. The arena, in a sense, is open for almost brand new, back to basic redrawing, new architectures, new technology, new chips, new systems. And the third point I want to make is what we are seeing around us, what we happen to see with NVIDIA's ascent, with Intel, which used to be the dominant player in the processor chip space, reduced to 7% or 8% market share. A company like NVIDIA, which just 5 years ago was associated with gaming and gaming systems and gaming accelerators, is today a $1 trillion semiconductor company, is essentially that we are redrawing, and there is an opportunity to redraw the architecture of whether it is compute, whether it is telecom and wireless, whether it is industrial applications, strategic applications, and automotive. And that is the opportunity today that Digital India Future Lab is bringing to catalyze the next wave of startups from India. That in a partnership, and look at this stage, you have NXP and Qualcomm, two of the global leaders in semiconductors. You have TENS Torrent, which represents Keith and people like Jim Keller, who are, I use this word with great respect, Keith, so don't misunderstand me, mavericks and disruptors in the tech space. And then you have Parag, a homegrown, and I'm very proud of Sankhya because not only is he homegrown and not only is India's sort of symbol of performance, but also since he's from Bangalore, and I remember going to his company at a time when he was very, very frustrated and said, nobody cares about us. And I said, good things shall happen, and good things have happened. A certain Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji, became Prime Minister in 2014, and the fate and the landscape of everybody who was in innovation suddenly transformed. So this group, working with the academia, Professor Bose, our labs, our organizations in the government, whether it's the Army, whether it's the DRDO, whether it's the CDAC, whether it's CDOT, this ecosystem, it is our hope, it is our Prime Minister's hope, it is our ambition, it is our desire that the next generation of these systems that will be designed and architected will come from this collaboration anchored by the Digital India Future Labs. Openness, certainly one of the characteristics that we want one of the design elements of Digital India Future Labs is what has really made India successful in the DPI area, in the electronics manufacturing space, is that we certainly want to ensure that we create technologies and we create these collaboration models that allow the product solutions and the basic frameworks to be openly available, shared, accessible, so that the layers of innovation that can be built on something that is fundamentally robust and open is at the heart of Digital India Future Labs. Performance, of course. The lab name, as Parag mentioned about Sankhya Labs, is not to be misunderstood for something that is a tinkering lab. What we expect out of the labs, Future Labs, is what came out of AT&T Bell Labs, what came out of other labs in Albany like Nanotech, is that these would be high-performance systems, globally competitive systems, and these would be systems that would be, in addition, having the characteristic of being affordable and low cost and trusted. So openness, safety and trust are things that we want to build in broadly into our digital ecosystem as our basic guiding principle, and we hope that that will be the same as well in the Digital India Future Labs. There was a point made by Keith about we have all of the ingredients, but we need capital. And I think, and I certainly want to share this with you, if you heard what the Honorable Prime Minister's budget and what the Honorable Finance Minister laid out just 2 days ago, he has set aside 1 lakh crores, which is $12.5 billion for research and innovation into the coming decade. So India's ambitions, India's reimagined ambitions today span continuing to grow our IT and ITES businesses, our enterprises, our capabilities as, in a sense, the support back office, the infrastructure for the world's digitization needs. To that, we have added the India DPI, where technology and innovation and solutions from India will support governments of the world, especially countries that find it difficult to afford the costs of digitization from the normal system integrators, multinational companies. So the India DPI, electronics manufacturing, semiconductor design manufacturing research, and you will shortly hear of a Bharat Semiconductor Research Center that will be announced, where cutting-edge semiconductor research will also be something that India will focus on. And now we have Digital India Future Labs that will round off, in a sense, our ambitions of making sure there is an Indian flag on almost every piece and slice of the technology innovation ecosystem in the coming years, in the coming decade. And just to round off what I just said today and to celebrate the Digital India Future Labs inauguration, I want to certainly tell you that the resources are there, the leadership of this government believes in these ambitions, believes in the ability of our young Indians. And as our Prime Minister said in 2021 from the ramparts of the Red Fort, the coming 10 years, he called it the India Decade. And he went on to say that the India Decade will be architected by, built by, and in a sense made successful by the enterprise, the hard work, the perseverance, determination and innovation of hundreds and thousands and lakhs of young Indians from all around the country. So on that note, again, I thank all of you for being a part of this Digital India Future Labs initiative. And I certainly hope in the coming months and years that this will live up to the ambitions and the vision of our leadership, our Prime Minister, and all of us. Thank you. Jai Hind. Namaste.
One of the pioneers of the industry and now acting as a beacon light in the role of minister. Sir, your vision and leadership are instrumental in shaping the future of digital innovation in our nation. Thank you so much for your very insightful address. And Before I request him to unveil the Digital India Future Labs vision document, I request DG CDAC, DG Samir, Srimati Sunita Verma, and Shri S.K. Marwa to join us on stage. And with the other dignitaries present here on the stage, I now request Honorable Minister, sir, to unveil the Digital India Future Labs vision document. Thank you. With that, I request all the illustrious industry members to kindly be seated amongst the audience now. Shri Savi Swine, Shri Keith Vitek, Shri Hitesh Garg, Shri Sanjay Gupta, Shri Parana Nayak, all are requested to kindly join the audience. Well, collaborations between the government and the industry players are crucial for the successful implementation of Digital India Future Labs. These collaborations can help leverage resources, expertise, and networks to accelerate the inclusive growth. And now we will be having these collaborations here on stage in different verticals. Under automotive vertical, Mahindra is collaborating with CDAC. I request Shri Srinivas Rao, VP Engineering and Advanced Tech, Mahindra, and Shri Kalai Selvan, ED CDAC, Trivandrum, to kindly come on stage for this collaboration for development of the A-Track project aimed at developing indigenous, cost-effective, autonomous tractor components for Indian farming conditions and applications, which is a collaborative effort involving CDAC, Trivandrum, and Hyderabad, and Mahindra. The project's primary goal is to achieve level 3 autonomy for tractor vehicles, thereby enhancing farm operational efficiency, increasing productivity, reducing fuel consumption, and promoting inclusive participation in agriculture, especially among women and semi-skilled operators, to address the shortage of skilled operator and driver. Shri Srinivas Rao and Shri Kalai Selvan, please. Shri Srinivas Rao and Shri Kalai Selvan are here. Okay, so before moving further, we have students of IIIT here who want to present something to Honorable Minister. Students of IIIT. Thank you. Well, under automotive sector, Spark Minda is collaborating with CDAC for intelligent transportation solutions and EV subcomponents. Now I invite Shri Sanjay Gupta, President and CEO Spark Minda, and Shri Kalai Selvan, ED CDAC Trivandrum, for this collaboration. Shri Kalai Selvan and Shri Sanjay Gupta, for this collaboration under automotive sector. Automotive sector is just a collaboration, so they just have to stand there and we can all clap for this collaboration. So under compute technology vertical, I invite Colonel Nath from CDAC and Venkat Subramaniam, India Quantum Lead IBM, for this collaboration. And also Shri Kamal Arora, Country Head and GM, Government Dell Technologies and CDAC DG. All are requested. This is the compute technology vertical. All the collaborators to kindly join us on stage. We also invite Shri Puneet Agarwal, CEO VVDN, and Shri E. Magesh, DG CDAC. Then we also have Shri Ramesh Kannan, Promoter and Managing Director, Keynes, and Shri E. Magesh, and Shri Ravi Jain, VP Strategy, Krutrim, and Shri E. Magesh, DG CDAC. So all these collaborators in the vertical of compute technology are here on stage with us. They can have a group photograph with Honorable Minister. Let's have a group photograph of all these collaborators from this vertical with Honorable CM, Honorable Minister. And now we'd like to invite on stage all the collaborators for communication vertical. These are Shri Savi Swine, SVP and President, Qualcomm, and Shri Vivek Khaneja, ED CDAC Noida. Then we also have Shri Naveen M, Founder, Hiremath, and CEO and CDAC Noida. All these collaborators of communication verticals to kindly come on stage. Dr. Rishi Mohan Bhatnagar, President Lava International, and Shri Vivek Khaneja, ED CDAC Noida. Please. Also Shri Colonel A.K. Nath, CDAC Pune, and Srimati K. Suhana. These all are collaborators under the communication vertical. Thank you, and now we move on to the next vertical, that is the strategic electronics vertical. For this, may I please have on stage Brigadier Rajesh Verma and Dr. P.H. Rao, Director General Samir. Shri Amit Mahajan, Director, Paras Defense and Space Technologies Limited, and CEO of Paras Anti-Drone Technologies, and Dr. P.H. Rao, DG Samir. We will also be having on stage Shri E. Magesh, DG CDAC, and Dr. Sham Chaudhary, Commander Sushil Kumar Tata Steel. Dr. Rishi Bhatnagar from Lava is also here. All the collaborators in the strategic electronics vertical. You could come again, I think, for a group photograph.
No, my son wanted to behave, but he can't. He did for my team.
Thank you, and now we move on to the next vertical, that's the Industry, Electronics, IoT vertical. Muratha Business Engineering India and Center for Materials for Electronics Technology, CMET, collaborate to develop affordable, accessible, scalable, and high-tech healthcare solutions. Can we have them on stage, please? Muratha and CMET. Additionally, this partnership also aims for indigenous development of design and systems for remote diagnostics and individual healthcare. So this vertical we are talking about now is the Industrial Electronics IoT vertical between Muratha Business Engineering India and Center for Materials for Electronics Technology, CMET. The next vertical is Design and Innovation vertical. We'll have Mr. Hitesh Garg, Country Manager, NXP Semiconductors, and Shri Vivek Khaneja, ED CDAC Noida. And also Udita Kapoor, Application Engineer, Muthu Raman Swaminathan, Silvaco, and Shri Vivek Khaneja, ED CDAC Noida. These are the collaborations in the vertical of design and innovation. Thank you and all our best wishes for all these collaborations. Thank you. Well, now for future design startups under Semicon India Design Linked Incentive Scheme, ladies and gentlemen, Government of India has announced Semicon policy with an outlay of $10 billion, which provides dedicated thrust to supporting chip design startups as one of the key verticals through Design-Linked Incentive Scheme. Under the Semicon India Design-Linked Incentive Scheme, fourth batch of 2 future design startups are hereby announced. I first invite Shri Vijay Mukutmat, CEO and founder from Sensesme Technologies. It's a fabulous semiconductor company designing advanced and cutting-edge SoCs. Sensesme has developed the medical device for managing chronic diseases, which help them to bring in SoCs with analog front-end inputs, wireless connectivity, smart intelligent AI, and ultra-low power technologies. That's Shri Vijay Muktamat from Sensesme Technologies. And now I would request Shri Hemant Malapur, founder, and Shri Parag Naik, co-founder, futureLABS, to kindly come on stage. futureLABS is a wireless communication and semiconductor solutions company which has designed a full spectrum of next-gen communication solutions including solutions for broadband, satellite, and broadcast applications, future design startups under Semicon India Design-Linked Incentive Scheme. So this is Shri Hemant Malapur and Shri Parag Naik of futureLABS. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, we'll now be having exchange of MOUs in your presence, sir. MOU of CDAC for Digital India, Risk 5, Vega, and it's with two companies. MOU 1 is AHISA Digital Innovations, is a fabulous semiconductor specializing in indigenous designs. I request you to kindly come on stage for the exchange of MOUs. Shri Anil Raj Tulasidas, founder AHISA Digital Innovations, and Shri Krishna Kumar Rao, CDAC Trivandrum. AHISA is licensing CDAC's indigenously developed Digital India RISC-V Vega processor core based on RISC-V architecture for the development of AHISA Vihan series of SoCs. We can have a group photograph with Honorable Minister. The second MOU is between Shri Vinay Hebali, CEO of Caligo, and Shri Krishna Kumar Rao, CDAC Trivandrum. Caligo Technologies has successfully implemented octa-core RISC-V based accelerator solution, which is now being enhanced by integrating CDAC Vega Core. So Mr. Vinay Hebali and Shri Krishna Kumar Rao. For unveiling the Digital India RISC-V Vega processor-based hardware development kits, may I invite on stage Shri Sachin Vaish, GM, Coreel Technologies, and Shri Krishna Kumar Rao, CDAC Trivandrum, who's already here on stage. Can we have Shri Sachin Vaish, GM, Coreel Technologies, on stage? We now have the second unveiling. That's the first one. May I please invite on stage Dr. Anish Bekal, founder and CEO of Track Health Technologies, and Shri Krishna Kumar Rao, who's already here on stage, for the unveiling of the second kit. Thank you so much. And now we proceed to the next segment, transfer of technology. The design and development of thermal smart camera was carried out by CDAC Thiruvananthapuram under the Intrans program of METI. The indigenized technology is targeted for applications across multiple domains, including smart cities, industries, defense, health, and others. The camera has an inbuilt DPU to run various AI-based analytics. The video of thermal camera, please. Can we have the video of thermal camera?
Search of a customizable standalone thermal camera that supports high-speed AI computations. CDAC provides you the ultimate solution. TVITS, CDAC's indigenous general-purpose thermal imaging camera with AI capabilities, developed under the Make in India initiative and funded by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Now, let's get introduced with TVITS. They have some remarkable advantages over traditional cameras. For instance, these cameras can see through fog, smoke, haze, and other adverse weather conditions that may impair the visibility of traditional cameras. This camera is ideal for 24/7 surveillance and various detection applications such as border security and surveillance, vehicle presence detection for traffic signaling applications, firefighting, industrial monitoring, medical electronics, and many more. This camera employs a quad-core ARM Cortex-A53 processor with an operational frequency of 1.5 GHz and has a 2 GB DDR4 RAM. TVITS supports both H.264 and H.265 formats. Standard TVITS has a maximum frame rate of 30. It also supports standard screw mount lenses with focal lengths ranging from 6 to 19 millimeters. Our hardware is an edge computing device that uses FPGA, or Field Programmable Gate Arrays, with AI accelerators to speed up AI computations. Custom-made applications can also be ported into this general-purpose hardware.
So may I please now invite on stage, the transfer of technology will take place later on, but for the group photograph, may I please invite on stage Mr. Rajendra, Chairman and CEO of PRP S4E Innovation Private Limited, Mr. Shanmugam of SEITA Solutions, please come on stage for the group photograph. Ms. Srishti Tyagi, TAC Technologies Private Limited, Ambatika Technologies, Mr. Nikhil Sharma, Mr. Ashish Dhakan from Prama, India, Mr. Sanjeev Sehgal from Samriddhi Automations Private Limited, Mr. Vijay Kumar, Global CFO of Northern Research and Innovation Center. Please come here for the group photograph. Mr. Kapil Baldeja of Vihan Technologies, Mr. Sudeep Sundaram from Spookfish Innovations, Commander Pradyumna Mishra and Devashish Mohanty from Atulya Abhinav Tech, Mr. Jito Joseph from Unidad Techno, Mr. D. Narasimha Prasad from Labs P Limited, from IBI Group India, we have Mr. Venkata Chundru, and Mr. Amit Mahajan from Paras Defense and Space Technologies. So the certificates will be given later on. These are all doing the transfer of technology.
All working on it. Yeah, so processing capacity on edge only. Yeah, it will take time. Now we are detecting at a distance, but the AI will help soldiers to see it much earlier. That's what we are working on, sir. The first guy who does it would be unicorn. Yeah. CDAC is a good support to us. John, I have really impressed with the support of studies there. My God, amazing, amazing. Over 4 to 3 years, 900 is from CDAC. Heartfelt, really heartfelt. But we need your blessings. All the best. All the best. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All the best.
We will keep reminding you in any case.
I'm not contesting for Kerala.
It doesn't matter. Even I'm sure you must be traveling.
I will. After May, it's
May I please invite Mr. Amit Mahajan, Director, Paris Defense and Space Technologies, and Dr. P.H. Rao, DG Samir, to come on stage.
Thank you, sir. Surely will.
Mr. Amit Mahajan, Director, Paris Defense and Space Technologies, and Dr. P.H. Rao. Their collaboration is under Strategic Electronics Vertical. May I now request Mrs. Sunita Verma for vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm here for the vote of thanks. And we had been given direction by Honorable MOS to catalyze the startup and the industry ecosystem. And he has given us the vision of futureLAB. And in order to proliferate and make this a reality, this function has been organized, and I would like to thank all of you. First of all, I would like to thank our Honorable Minister of State, Shri Rajeev Chandrasekhar sir, for taking out his time and encouraging us, guiding us for making this, how to make this a success. He's given us a wide guidance, and sir, we will try to come up to your expectations, sir. I would like to thank IIIT Delhi for hosting this, and academia is the one where we nurture our startups ecosystem and our young students. So thank you, sir, for organizing this, and thanks to all the students who have participated in this. I would like to also thank our industry partners and our startups who have come forward to make this futureLAB a success. They have started collaborating with us, and to see that we not only make in India but also design in India in the various sectors that have been enumerated and been talked about in this session. I also thank my colleagues from the government and all the dignitaries who have come from the army, from Government of India, and from the academia, our chip to startup faculty who have come here. We have 100 in academic institution faculty here, around more than 50 startups, and around more than 50 big MNCs and the organizations and industries. I thank you all for being here for making this program a success, and we welcome you all to be part of this initiative, and let us have more and more collaborative research together with our R&D organizations, and government is open to this collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sparing your valuable time and being with us all throughout. I request everyone to kindly remain seated as Honorable Minister leaves. We'll now have the transfer of technology ceremony, which we just rushed through because Minister had to leave. So we'll now have that ceremony. I request all of you to kindly remain with us for another few minutes. I request all the members of the audience to kindly be seated. And for the transfer of technology ceremony, may I please invite on stage DG CDAC. DG CDAC, ED CDAC Trivandrum, and Satish Ji. All three of them are requested to kindly join us on stage. As I'll be reading out, I request Sunita Ji also to kindly join us on stage, Srimati Sunita Verma. All the members who will be given these certificates of transfer of technology, I'll be reading out their names one by one. Mr. Rajendra Shodnankar, from Chairman of PRPS4E Innovation Private Limited. Kindly come on stage to collect your certificate. Can we also have on stage from SCITA Solutions, Mr. Chokanathan Shanmugam. The first one here is PRPS4E Innovation Private Limited. From SCITA Solutions, can we have Mr. Chokanathan Shanmugam on stage, please? Please come. From TAG Technologies Private Limited, can we have Ms. Srishti Tyagi, Joint Director? Ms. Srishti Tyagi from TAG Technologies. From Abmatica, Mr. Nikhil Sharma, Technical Director of Abmatica Technologies, Mr. Nikhil Sharma. From Prama India, can we have Mr. Ashish Pravichandran on stage, please, and Mr. Hiren P. Dhakan. Prama India, coming up on stage. From Samriddhi Automations Private Limited, We call upon Mr. Sanjeev Sehgal and Ms. Malvika Pathak. From Samriddhi Automations. We have on stage Mr. Sanjeev Sehgal, its founder and managing director, and Ms. Malvika Pathak. From Northern Research and Innovation Center, we will now have Mr. Vijay Kumar, Global CFO, and Mr. Prashant Oberoi. From Northern Research and Innovation Center. From Vehant Technologies, can we have Mr. Kapil Bardeja and Shri Anup Prabhu on stage? From Vehant Technologies, coming up is Mr. Kapil Bardeja along with Mr. Anup Prabhu. From Spookfish Innovations, we have Shri Sudeep Sundaram, CEO and Technical Director of Spookfish Innovations, coming up. From Atulya Abhinav Tech Private Limited, Commander Pradyumna Mishra and Mr. Devashish Mohanty. From Atulya Abhinav Tech Private Limited, Commander Pradyumna Mishra and Mr. Devashish Mohanty. From Unidad Techno, can we have Mr. Jito Joseph on stage? Mr. Jito Joseph from Unidad Techno. From Labs Private Limited, Mr. D. Narasimha Prasad, Senior Manager Operations, coming up on stage. Labs Private Limited, Mr. D. Narasimha Prasad. Mr. Venkata Chundru from IBI Group India Private Limited. And from Paras Defense and Space Technologies, can we have Mr. Amit Mahajan? DG Sameer and Rajesh Harshji to kindly come on stage for this. Paras Defense and Space Technologies. And we now break for lunch. We'll have ZOP workshop at 2:30 p.m. in room number 102. The ZOP workshop will be held in room number 102 at 2:30. Join us for the same. And now, please join us for lunch. Thank you. Mr. Keith from 10th Torrent. Well, 10th Torrent also had an MOU with CDAC. We already have DG CDAC on stage. That's in the category of compute.
that's hard. One step at a time, and then to wake up in Silicon Valley. It won't take long.
Yes,